There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and go into my little spiel. I'm Dr. Ransdell, and I'm here to talk to you about Carillon Chase. So this is my new book that's in the Campanello Travels series. As most of you know, the first book was Amorosian Nights, where Rachel went to Greece and wound up in a bouzouki band. Then there was Tight Twist, and Gina had a lot of fun going through Thailand. Well, mostly it was fun, traipsing through Thailand and learning all about Thai. And then when she came back, she did some blogs. And because of those blogs, she wound up doing an internship. Now, what you do when you have characters, you throw rocks at them. At least that's what you're supposed to do. So I thought, what would be the best way to throw some rocks at Gina so that she really has a hard time? Well, I like to fly. I don't like long car road trip. So I thought that would be the very best thing to do. Send her on a road trip. And where should she go? Well, since she's starting off in Arizona, send her somewhere far. And I thought it'd be fun to send her to my hometown, Springfield, Illinois. Now, we've got a bunch of Lincoln stuff in Springfield, Illinois, but we also have something that's really special. That's a Carillon. Carillon is a bell tower. We have right now about the 5th biggest in the US. It was the 3rd biggest as I was growing up. Now, if I have any luck at all, I can share my screen and show you some pictures. I'm not sure if this will work, so you will just have to tell me if you were seeing, are you seeing my website?
Not yet.
No?
No.
No website? Let me try again.
Is that your website I'm saying with the cactus? No,
No,
that's Elise.
that's Elise. Another Elise. Let me try one more time. Oh, okay. I think this will work now.
No, something's coming through now.
Okay. All right. It's hard to, when you're recording it, it's harder to see. So anyway, so on my website, if you were to go down to Carillon Chase, you would see right there a big picture of the Thomas Rees Memorial Carillon. And in fact, I put quite a few pictures on my website because I just get a big kick out of this thing. And I take pictures of it, you know, from all the different angles, in different weather. You can kind of get a sense that it's a big structure. It's actually done in a style that's called brutalism, which sounds awful, but actually it just means that you can see some of the structure. It's hard to notice from here, but there's these different platforms. So the first platform is where there's a practice room, and then there's above is where the people actually play at. That gives you a little detail of the bells. So as I said, ours is very big. It has 66 bells. It started with 66 bells and then got one additional bell, 67. It's a little younger than I am, not much. It seems that the inauguration was in 1962, but they had and this is surrounding areas, they had the festival started in 1961. And now this will really make those of you who know me really well laugh. I even visit the Carillon when it's cold out. The Carillon is really nice because it's freestanding. It's on top of a hill in Washington Park. So one of the cool things is that you don't have to just sit there and listen to the bells. You can walk around. So that's what I do. Walk around, usually take more pictures. I don't know why I need any more of the Carillon, but see, even the ducks get a really nice concert all the time. So that should be worth something. Well, the interesting thing though about Carillons, I think this is very interesting. There's a lot of them. It's a big European tradition. And just to give you kind of a quick idea, if you were to use your handy Wikipedia link, you would find that there are lots of Carillons around the world. Okay, maybe not so many in Africa, but if you go to Flanders, part of Belgium, wow, you see long lists of Carillons. But if you look closely, you notice, oh, 47 bells, 47, that's not so many compared to ours. You can go all the way through here. Here's one, Lommel, never heard of it. So that's a pretty big Carillon, very cool. 56, that's not bad. But you don't find a Carillon quite as big as ours until you go all the way down to France. I think it was Lyon. No, Lyon only has 65, and then there's one in France somewhere that has 70, Chambéry. Anyway, you have to go pretty far to find a better Carillon. All right. Our Carillon, interestingly enough, stop the share. Okay. Our Carillon, I think that's so interesting. It was built by money that was donated by Thomas Reese. He founded the Illinois State Journal Register, which is just a newspaper. My parents still get it. So he donated $200,000, which at the time was a lot of money. They built this Carillon. About 15 years ago, they had to renovate it and they did some upgrades. But anyway, that's how it started out. Now, let's talk about our Carillon a little bit. My experience with the Carillon starts BJ, before Johnny. At the time, we lived a block from the park. In fact, we lived on Park Street. And when there was an international festival at one point, my parents were asked to host a couple of the one of the Carillonneurs, the Carillonneur and his wife. So we hosted this little old couple. They were probably younger than me, but seemed at the time a little old couple. I think they were from Belgium. And what was cool, I was maybe 6 or 7 at the time, but he took me up to the practice room to see what it was like. And it was so cool because in the practice room, they have an exact replica. The Carillon is played kind of on something that resembles a keyboard. You might think of it as a keyboard. Goodness. But at that time, he had to wear like these boxing gloves. And the way you played it was like, and it looked just crazy. And then at the same time, you had your pedals that worked like an organ. So the guy was going like this. But in this practice one, you could play anything you want and it didn't matter. But I was fascinated by this lovely instrument. Well, here's something very funny because, you know, they say that life imitates art, but really no, art can imitate life. In my book, I joke about the main Carillonneur playing some popular tunes like Star Wars and Raiders of the Lost Ark. And last summer, for the first time, as far as I can tell, somebody played Raiders of the Lost Ark on the Carillon. How interesting. You can't get any better than that. I'm going to give you an example. It's actually very easy to hear examples from the Thomas Reese Memorial Carillon. On their website, they have links to concerts that they've done. Or you can also just go to YouTube, which is what I did, or go to my website. Oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. Go to my website. But let me just play just a little bit of this Raiders of, I just think this is hysterical. Because it is really what I put in the book. So just take a listen. It's coming. Come on, YouTube. You can do it.
It's not coming through.
No.
You can't hear anything? Oh,
No.
darn. Okay, well, later on, you'll have to go to my website. And I thought it would be loud enough, but anyway, there's some snippets on there. The fact is, the Carillon has kind of an odd sound, and maybe it takes a little bit of getting used to because of the metal bells. I don't know, sometimes they seem a little out of tune, and there's a limit actually to how fast you can play them, but I still think it's really interesting. Well, I'll tell you what, I want to read just a little bit from the beginning of this book. So, France, number 1, I typed. Italy, number 2. I was stuck for a third choice because I couldn't decide between Greece and England. Either would have been perfect. I thought you wanted a summer job. I nearly fell from the patio chair. My sister sneaked up on me so skillfully and she read over my shoulder. 13 years my senior, we were contrasts. I was a medium tall blonde who burned instead of tanning. She was darker and shorter and sneakier. Actually, I have good news, I said. I pushed away my shoulder length hair to give Rachel an unobstructed view of the Eiffel Tower on my shirt. Can't you guess? You met somebody from France? I'd been attending the Alliance Française to practice my conversational skills while flirting. But so far, the only cute men came with cute girlfriends. Remember the internship I applied for? Rachel snapped her fingers. The travel company, book company. Happy Travels offered me an internship. They like my blogs about Thailand, so they're sending me on a trip. Oh, for a journalism major, that's perfect. It sure is. So the lady from the company calls her. Her name is Janet. She says, hello, Gina. Still interested in the internship? Interested in taking a free trip? Seeing my name in print? Developing my portfolio? Oh, absolutely. I swished back my hair so that Janet could view every inch of my Eiffel Tower. Where do you need me? The Cliffs of Moher? The Colosseum? The Tower of London? Janet's eyes brightened. You're hysterical. We don't have that kind of money, but we're starting a brand new program. You'll be one of our first writers. Think of the opportunity. Wonderful, I gushed. I love being first at anything. Americans aren't traveling abroad this year. Too many restrictions. They won't be next year either. What? The fun ones would be the ones I wanted to write for. Surely some people want to get out of the country. These days, Americans are traveling domestically. Janet was as cheerful as an actor peddling toothpaste. That's what all the analysts say. Domestically. Not quite what I had in mind. But the US was a big country, one that required plane travel. Hawaii would be a good choice. Boston, the Florida Keys. Since I hadn't been to any of them, they were all great choices. I'll give you a hint, Janet said. Think Civil War. Civil War. I drew a blank. I could not imagine a single fun place associated with the darkest moments of US history. So, of course, she gets sent to, I think you can see the shirt. She gets sent to Springfield, Illinois. And to tell you the truth, she's not really that excited about it. She had in mind a few other things that would be more fun, but never mind. She has to take the assignment. She's trying to get into the School of Journalism. So she starts doing research and she figures out that, okay, one of the interesting things in Springfield is this Carillon, and there's an international Carillon festival every year, and she can coincide with it. So she starts to do some research about the different people who are going to come and play. And it turns out that one of the Carillonneurs is actually in the US already, and he's kind of nearby. So she meets up with him, learns more about the technique of playing the Carillon, et cetera, et cetera. She's quite taken with him. Blinder, he's from the Netherlands, because if you notice, there's a long list of Carillons that are from the Netherlands, that are in the Netherlands. They're all set to meet up in Springfield, but then there's a snag. And that's where I'll stop. I'll let you read about the snag on your own. I should have mentioned the book went live on Kindle this morning. I'm still waiting on the paperback copy to go live, but soon. Well, anyway, I also want to mention to you a little bit about the dedication for this book, because it's really kind of a funny story. I did gymnastics when I was maybe in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade, something like that. And then, I had a little injury and I had other things going on and I quit and I didn't do gymnastics for a really long time. And then my little nieces wanted to do gymnastics. So my mom and my sister decided they'd go and visit the gyms that were in town. So they went to the gym I had gone to, L&M Gymnastics, was still in business. And as I was told, I don't know, my mom can tell me if this is true or not, but I think I got it right. When they walked in, Leroy from across the gym shouted, "DR's mom," like he remembered her and everything. So of course, the nieces started going to that gym. And then after maybe a year, Leroy finally enticed me to go to the gym. At that point, I hadn't done a cartwheel for a long time. So the first cartwheels were very painful, but now I do cartwheels every day just to keep in shape, which is very funny. Anyway, the point is this. Let me read the dedication. Dedicated to Leroy and Meryl McDaniels. Oh, she'll kill me. Leroy and Muriel McDaniels, and all my friends at L&M Gymnastics, you're the true spirit of Springfield. And with fond appreciation for the Thomas Reese Memorial Carillon. So there you have it. That's my spiel for this book. And I hope you have a chance to look at it and maybe read it. It's kind of fun. It's humorous. It's a travel novel, but yeah, it's fun to go to Springfield, especially during the summer. That's what I would say. Now we have quite a few minutes, so I can open up to questions. You
When-
don't all have to ask them at once, though.
Just real quickly, when did, you said it went live on Kindle now? And when does the paperback come out?
You know, they review them in a certain way, like to make sure like the dimensions are right and stuff. And so, so sometimes there's a lag time. So I would say tomorrow,
Oh, okay.
but it should be soon. They're usually pretty quick, but with the ebook, there are fewer things that can go wrong. So there you go. In fact, I had it all uploaded. I thought I was all ready to go. And then wouldn't you know it, after I pushed, publish, then I found a typo. It was like, oh. And then I found another mistake. You know how like if you pay for a movie, it's pay per view, but I had put pay for view. So like I went back to fix, these little things are really bothersome when you worked on a project for so long. But anyway, it'll be fast in a day or so.
So you were able to get those corrected then?
It's pretty, when you're going through Amazon to publish something, it's pretty easy to upload a new document, but then it goes to the end of the queue and they review it again to make sure that like the demand. Last night I spent like 3 hours, no, not really, just 2, trying to get the cover right, because when I went to the final version, it was a little bit longer. And so I needed to change the dimensions of the color of the cover, and I had to go through Photoshop and it wasn't working. And then I did it a different, anyway, I finally got it worked out, but that's not the fun part.
And the title is Carillon Chase.
Mhm.
And how did you come up with the title then?
I like alliteration, I guess. So Gina's previous book was Tie Twist. So I was kind of looking for something to go with Carillon. She doesn't actually run around the bell tower physically. A little bit she does. But it's just a way to try to get attention, I suppose. I like the sound of Carillon Chase. I don't know, the double C. It's such an interesting structure that I think it'd be great if more people knew about it. The International Festival last summer was really, not last summer, couldn't go last summer, a couple summers ago, was really nice, but I was surprised that more people weren't there. But this summer there are other things, baseball, I don't know, stuff like that. But it's really nice to be able to go to the park and hear a few songs, and you can get your exercise at the same time. So that's very good. What they have is a guy, Carl Kellerman's, I think is the guy who's in charge right now. Anyway, he plays a couple of times a week. So there's concerts at regularly scheduled times. And then you can go for the festival too. Let's see, I know, I'm sorry. Carillons was the first guy. But right now it's Carlo van Ulft, a native of the Netherlands. Anyway, he's our current Carillonneur. He plays on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays in good weather. Oh, he might be taking a break by now. It's all on the website though for the Carillon.
So where he plays is not heated then, or cooled? Is it up?
I would say that they can heat the room where the Carillon itself is. It's just that not enough people want to go to the park. November, December, January, February. Yeah, it's just too cold for many people to go out and enjoy it.
Well, if you guys want to come, I think this mid-month they're doing caroling at the Carillon.
You've taken the kids to several events there, because what do they do they do something for October too, don't they?
I don't know about October, but the caroling at the Carillon is really popular. And they've got cookies, and the municipal band comes and plays too. And then they play Christmas carols and everybody sings along. It's nice.
Now, is there a difference between a carillon and a bell tower?
No, that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because they have a big one at the University of Nebraska in Omaha. And I know the guy is in there playing, and he does I haven't seen him, but that's what my cousin said, is that
It's
Well, it's not-
fascinating. Yeah, and the first time, I was just a little kid when we first went, and I don't know if I'd already been taking piano lessons by then, but the way they have to hit those levers is just really interesting. What they've done, what they've gone to, over the last few years when they have a festival, is that somebody donated enough money to make big video monitors. So instead of, the 10 people that can actually crowd around in the room where the musician is playing, you can watch them. So it's really cool. They just put the screens out during the festival because there'd be like these huge TV screens. And if you go to the Carillon website, you can watch some of their previous concerts, and they have video of the people who are playing. So the one that they have now that it's been updated, it just takes a light touch. I didn't see anybody wearing gloves. I mean, I'm sure they have pretty, developed calluses here because you're still hitting a kind of a wooden rod, but it's not too hard.
And they also, with that screen, show the feet, which is interesting
Oh,
too, because their
yeah.
feet are going all the time. And there was when I saw a little inset showing the feet and the hands. Oh, it was very interesting.
Yeah.
Anyhow, do you have the next in the series in your head?
I have some ideas.
Well,
But
where's
that's as
she
far as
going
I've
next
gone.
time?
I'm sorry?
Do you know where she's going next time?
I have an idea. Did
I
you
bet
notice
you-
this shirt? I mean, I've got,
It's abroad.
so, yeah, anyway, this shirt's kind of an in joke. My mom got it for me years ago, but I think that's what initially gave me the idea for this book. Somebody who wants to be a travel writer probably wouldn't head to Springfield, Illinois as a first choice. She would probably head somewhere else. So, you kind of play around with your characters and give them something interesting to do. So
Now,
there you go.
which number in the series is this book?
This is the third book.
Okay.
Yeah, the first one took place in Greece, and then they went to Thailand. So sort of fun to have one in the US, and I could play around with that a little bit. I really don't like to be in a car for a long period of time. What happened to me actually was that my folks bought me my car, a Mazda. I loved it to death after I came back from Mexico, and I drove to Tucson with my bicycle and a few other things. It took 36 hours of driving time. At that time, you could only go 55 miles an hour. It was really painful. I stayed along the road. I slept in motels a couple nights, but that's the only time I've driven between Arizona and Illinois. Thank you very much. So now my folks have done it several times, but I'm not good for that. So there you go. Well, other questions?
Could you put the book up so we could see the cover?
I can't.
You kind of
unfortunately,
waved it, but
it has a stripe through it because this is a sample copy. So I wanted to see how it was looking. On my website, you can see the cover a bit better. The gal, I guess I sent her some pictures, but she did a really nice job because actually there is a fountain like that in Washington Park. This is just an imagination of a Carillon, so it doesn't look exactly like ours, which is good because it's probably copyrighted and stuff like that. But that gives you a good sense. And then on the back, a picture taken by my sister, of author at Lake Springfield. Because another nice thing about Springfield is that we do have a big lake. And that's where we spend our time in the summer, going to the lake. So in the book, Gina too has to go to the lake. And yeah, that's part of her fun. When you're in Springfield, you don't want to just do the Lincoln site. You want to have a little fun at the same time. So there you go.
does she get to do gymnastics too?
I'm sorry?
Does she get to do gymnastics too?
Might. There may be something about that.
Now, I'm sorry. Do you classify the book as a mystery or a romance?
Neither. And that's what makes it a little bit more difficult because it doesn't fit into an easy niche. So it's a travel novel, you know, it's a road trip book. So it really doesn't fit any handy categories. That's probably also why the 67 or so agents that I wrote turned it down. They want things that are very easily, you know, put into horror or
Enterprise.
sci-fi or, you know, whatever they are. And this wasn't as easy to categorize as that. So so that's why I finally just decided to bring it out on Amazon, which is fairly easy to do. You know, I have a publisher for the Andy books, but that process takes a long time. So there's actually no easy way for book publishing. I will say though, a couple of people that are in this Zoom room right now helped me edit the book, and that was much appreciated. They found some mistakes. Unfortunately, I kept finding mistakes, even in, you know, like a fifth or sixth, seventh time that I thought, oh, I'm done finally. And then you read it again and you find some small things. So yeah, that's the way it goes. How about the rest of you? Have you heard the Carol? Have you heard? Well, it sounds like Jay, you've heard the Carillon in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Actually, in Dayton, Ohio, there's not quite as big as yours, it only has 57 bells, but they, at some point, they automated it, so it plays every day. And I'm unaware of a Carillon person. I remember it being automated forever. But it's actually a big deal because they have a history park around it, and they have part of it's obviously not the Erie Canal, but a canal like the Erie Canal that goes through this park. And they have 7.5 gauge railroad tracks that, you know, that actually went through that space. And so they have a little section of that, and they have a history museum with something about the Wright brothers, you know. So they've turned the space into the anchor, and it's right by, so it's really that's park. Really turned it into like a history park of Dayton, Ohio, with you know, actual things that were in that space that they were originally, I guess, when back in the 1940s, and now they've expanded into you know, other little snips. But so when you start talking about the Carillon, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I grew up with a Carillon. Maybe not a guy, but I guess you had to have a guy at some point to record them, unless they're getting. I don't know how you would record a Carillon. I mean, is it like those automated piano things where you put in a roll and suddenly,
you know, the music plays? I'm not sure, but anyway.
There's actually also something called a traveling Carillon. So, you know, they can be on like a big thing, and then they can cart them around to different places. But of course, I like the freestanding one. When I went to the Netherlands, I did go to visit a couple of other Carillons because, you know, it's just such an interesting thing. But I'm afraid, since I didn't spring for the professional Zoom session, I'm afraid our session is about over. So I'm going to invite you all to take a look at my website, and you'll easily find links to all these things I've talked about. I could really use reviews. Those are useful. So if you have a chance to do that, that would be great. In the meantime, gosh, thanks for spending a little time with me. I appreciate it, and I will see most of you soon, and some of you sooner than others. So thanks again.
I'll see you around.
Thank you.
Hey, Diane.
All right, thanks, Rich.
Okay, glad you got it finally in print.
I'm glad you got the Zoom figured out.
Okay,
Not so easy.
bye-bye now.
All right, bye, you guys.
Bye. Oh, I've got you, Diane. Hey, are you still recording?
I am. Just a second.